And now we have the Carolina Panthers under the 3-time head coach of the year, John Fox. Quarterback Joe Flacco is here. Flacco sat behind Gannon for a year. Last year was his first year as a starter. Made the playoffs, but they lost in the first round to the Cardinals. They have Larry Johnson, who was a first-round pick in 2003. Now he's getting older. Lorenzo Booker has been taking more snaps. He was a third-round pick in 2007. They also drafted Ben Tate in the second round in this year's draft to keep that young legs churning here in Carolina. There is Steve Smith Sr., who is aging. Devery Henderson, who is supposed to be a top receiver for them. A speedster, but he just never really turned out to be that great. He's still stuck around, though. Maurice Stovall from the Eagles. Lavelle Hawkins. Some other receivers. Other than Steve Smith, they haven't really had a real target on this Panthers offense. And they've tried from Hawkins and... They drafted Fellini, they drafted Jason Avant, and it just never really worked out. We see tight end Anthony Fasano has actually been a fairly decent pick for the Carolina Panthers. He is their starting lead tight end. He was a second-round pick in 2006. There's also Bear Pasco and Humanuni. I hope I said it right. They did sign the best left tackle in free agency, Bryant McKinney, at left tackle, 89 overall. Major upgrade there. Chris Steelman, David Boz, Beekman, and then David Stewart. So a fairly solid offensive line, even made better with Bryant McKinney. And now we get to their defense. I keep talking about how great this Panthers defense is. Here's why. Julius Peppers, 93. Chris Jenkins, 94. There's Pat Sims, who's the weakest link on the defensive line. Pat Sims, 76. Then you have Aaron Campman, who's an 80 overall pass rusher. They have Robert Ayers, a 75 overall pass rusher, who's a lot younger, who might be able to replace Peppers or Campman. Then we did draft Carlos Dunlap in the third round, who's a 70 overall with a special dev. Linebackers, DeMarcus Ware, who was the second overall pick in 2005. This was a fantastic pick. And I mean, of course, we know Dallas with Ware, he was always an all-star and X factor, but he really panned out for the Panthers. And then you have David Harris on top of that, a first-round pick in 2007. Just top-notch players. Dan Morgan, a solid middle linebacker for them. It has been a very solid defense for this team. And then we look at Devin McCourty, at rookie now, and Sam Shields, an undrafted free agent that is going to be a starter for them. They did have Captain Munnerlyn, Bowie, Alfonso Smith. Cornerback was their worst position because they had some 60s starting. They even had an old veteran, Dre Bly, who finally we got rid of for some younger talent. This was their weakness, so we're addressing that in this past offseason with rookies. And then there's the safety duo of Daniel Manning and Michael Huff. This was a mistake. I drafted Michael Huff in the first round and then Manning in the third round, and I forgot that I drafted a safety. But in doing so, I created quite the dynamic duo in the backfield, in the defensive backs. And so Michael Huff and Daniel Manning have been just fantastic for the Carolina Panthers. Then they have David Sepulveda and Hall as special teamers. So let me know if you think the Panthers are going to continue their dynasty of being a playoff contender. John Fox made the Super Bowl once in these past 8 years, and we will see if he has a chance to do it again. Let me know what you think of this team, and if you are also very impressed by this really powerful defense.